Yeah, I'll never forget as a kid driving out. We would do a Christmas light drive around every year, and there was always a nativity scene with a life-size Santa kneeling to baby Jesus. And in my household, that was considered the pinnacle of Christian witness, that this family would show that Santa is in subordination to baby King Jesus.
It is an incredible testimony, and the humility of Santa to recognize his place is striking.
Hi, I'm Steve. For nearly 30 years, I've been a pastor and disciple maker, and what I really love doing is helping guys be better followers of Christ and better leaders at home.
I'm Mark, a certified financial planner with an MBA and an Ivy League degree who wants to make sure you're making the smartest money decisions possible.
And this is Abraham's Wallet. Join us weekly and create a culture in your family of multi-generational prosperity, spiritually, relationally, physically, intellectually, and financially. Run your home, your dough, like a biblical boss. Mark, my first question is, do you think this yellow sweater makes me look pale and sickly?
No, I think it makes you look like a Steelers fan.
Okay, that's fair. There's blue in this vest.
Oh, yeah. It's invisible when you don't elevate yourself like that.
Sure. You know who looks good in yellow? The black man. The black man looks good in the color yellow.
Yeah, well,
The white man can look a little jaundiced, if I may use the word jaundiced.
my wife for her birthday got a consultation package from my sister gave this to her, where they made her send in tons of photos of herself with all these different colors and all that. And what they produce for you is based on your unique skin tone, this is the color palette that you should wear. And so
Okay.
it was interesting, and it was I knew this would happen, but of course they came back and said, these are the colors you should wear. And she goes, these are the colors, if you had said, which ones do you not want to wear, I would have chosen these. And then she started wearing them, and people were like, oh, this looks very nice on you. So
Wow.
she's now sort of slowly working her way through everything that she liked and thought were her colors. They're like, whatever you do, don't wear those, wear
That's
these.
funny.
And, it makes for an easy Christmas season, right? Because I can always know, here's what we're gifting.
You know the right answer.
The winter palette. Exactly.
Is that right? She's a cool color girl?
I'd have to go back and look. I know that some of it I did roll my eyes a little bit at, because I was like, come on now. Cranberry versus like maroon spice. These look exactly like the same color to me, and you're saying avoid that and wear this. But I guess the professionals, yeah, they
The professionals
chose a bunch of those colors.
Uh-huh. How's your plumbing situation in the washroom?
Um, well, since we're talking color, my wife painted the laundry room pink, which that was a thing for us to make it through
That's
as
a
a
bold
couple.
choice.
Yeah, but my other sister-in-law is a designer and tells me that's a very popular move right now. Is kind of a muted pink, so that's what she did, and
Wow.
it's functional now, so we can wash clothes in our house. But the cabinetry is still, I think, 6 weeks out, so we're not
Oh
done yet.
my.
All the plumbing
Okay.
is
All right.
is working though.
That's great. Step in the right direction.
I think the people could use a little bit of just Christmas grab bag of tips and admonitions for how should we think about the celebrations, the giftings, and especially given our unique corner of the podcasting world, how are they supposed to afford and budget for all this stuff? So I said, let's
Yeah.
do.
Well, I want to say that in view of this episode, what we've done is we've gone and asked the people, the good people at AWHQ. And I'll just say that those fine people over there, if you don't know this, your ticket into our little online forum is a donation of any size. And so these sweet people support us. And so I have to throw this in because I brought it up. That those who support us, we are very grateful for them. And these cameras and this warm light on my face would not be running if it weren't for them. So we're very grateful for people that support us. And year-end giving plans, we do accept donations, and we can accept donor-advised funds. Isn't that right, Mark?
We can accept, basically, if you can think of something you'd like to donate, we will find a way to accept it. I mean, whatever it is. If you've got some old golf clubs at the house, we'll eBay those suckers and turn it into running your home and dough like a biblical boss ministry. And yesterday was Giving Tuesday, and people were generous to us, and really there was new givers, and there will be people now that will be newly added to AWHQ, and it was just a delight to see people come alongside and partner with us.
Yes, we are going to have something special just for year-end givers this year, which I'm excited about. We'll probably talk about it when it gets rolled out. Okay, yeah. So anyways, these AWHQ people, I told them what we're going to be talking about, and I have some suggestions from those self-same people that I'll be littering into the conversation. So again, this is Christmas hacks and tips and thoughts. So we're going to put 20 ornaments out on the table, and you can pick whatever ornaments help your scene. And you think that ornament doesn't help us, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have
to do that. That's fine.
Hack number one, if you're trying to save money at Christmas, is go to any home in your neighborhood. If they have a tree that kind of looks like a good Christmas tree, and hack it down. And then you have a free Christmas tree. That's a Christmas hack.
That is a hack. Wow. Good one.
You just hack, and then you got a tree.
Yeah. Smart. Let's talk about that for a second. Do you do live trees? First of all, let's back that up.
Yeah, okay.
Should a Christian have a pagan Christmas tree right inside their home? Is it pagan?
Man, I'm so tired of that argument. I don't even know that I have energy to go there. Everything is pagan and everything is Christian in terms of it depends on who we read and who we trust. And I guarantee you there's books on both sides of that argument. We put up a Christmas tree to make much of the incarnation of God in the world as a part of the way we celebrate that. And it also creates delightful nostalgia. And we have our own unique brand of Christmas tree that we always buy. And that's kind of like our type of tree. And so it does good things for our family. I do not feel that I have partnered with the occult in any way by bringing that tree into my house. If the Lord has put it on your heart that that's not the case for you, then no judgment if you choose to not have a Christmas tree.
Don't violate your conscience. What's your unique Christmas tree? I don't know about this.
Oh, I don't. My wife, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago said we've been buying live Christmas trees. I grew up with fake Christmas trees. And the first time I went to a house that had a live Christmas tree, I said, this is so much better. It smells good. It's different. There's a ceremony that's not, everybody spotting dad as he climbs the attic ladder to get the plastic tree out of the attic. It's an actual, we go out and choose one. So it's a little more fun than just the setting up of the fake tree. So from the first year we were married, we've always had a live tree. But one of the penalties of a live tree is that needles go all over the place, and it's not super fun to maintain the home when there's a live tree in it. And so we switched to the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Do you know what that means when I say that?
No.
Well, Charlie Brown in the Christmas episode, he picks the Christmas tree that looks tattered and barely there, and now there's a whole type of tree. I don't know that it's a breed. I'm sure there's a specific name for the breed. I didn't do that type of research for this episode,
Okay.
but we get one of these trees that's kind of sparse, and the benefit of this tree, besides it kind of looks funky, is no needles fall off the whole time. No
Gosh.
no needles have fallen off.
I have never heard of this strategy before. Uh, the way that we get around problems of Christmas is to buy a purposefully pitiful tree, but
Well, I don't know if it's
clever.
actually purposely pitiful. It's just not a I feel like what you get if you go to the plastic Christmas tree or try to buy a live tree that looks like that is more of a Christmas bush. Like it's very thick. And the Charlie Brown tree still has pine needles and branches. They're just you can see through it. So it's just not a
You want to see through it.
yeah, I like it. It's our unique thing. Again, if it's not your
I'll
thing,
say, you
move
know
on.
what? You know what I'll agree to? That's your unique thing. I will agree to that. That's true.
It's
Okay,
catching on
well,
though,
I'll
because at the Christmas tree lot, which we visited a couple nights ago, there was like 40% Charlie Brown style trees now. So it's catching on.
it's catching on among the Mormons. That's what you're telling me.
I don't know. I think the Mormons go for the biggest tree they can find.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm curious to know what your tree cost because one of our super fans, VJ Tunkel, told us that he has to drive out somewhere in Long Island. He said, I paid $50. I got this tree that wasn't even 5 feet tall. I felt like a sucker for it, but I'm going to be buying the live tree. Uh, what did you shell out?
Oh man, I feel bad because if a $50 tree in New York was possible, then it makes me feel like I might have gotten ripped off. So my all in out the door cost on the Christmas tree was $115,
Whoa,
which was a no, sorry, it was $120 plus tax.
fresh
But
wreath?
no, and Steve, I chose there was a lot of trees at the 175 price point, and I told my
Whoa.
family we can't buy those trees. And then there was trees at the $115 price point, and I was delighted when we found one of the least expensive at 95. Um, and then I gave a $20 tip to the guy who took it to my car, which is just a little
Oh,
I'm not usually one of these crazy big tippers. I am actually kind of frustrated with the tipping culture and where it's gone lately.
yes.
Uh, however, it's a part of our tradition is we hand a $20 bill to the guy who carries the tree out, and he's not even usually they're tying it to the roof of a Toyota Corolla or something. For me, they're throwing it in the back of a pickup truck and saying "Have a Merry Christmas," and we hand him
Jeez.
$20 because we just enjoy that's a part of the tradition. You get $20 as a part of this parrot family outing.
I got a holiday hack. Get a part-time job working at a Christmas tree lot. I bet there's a lot of people that tip with Christmas cheer at Christmas tree lots. Don't you bet? Being the guy who spends 8 minutes to tie up the tree and throw it on a roof rack and have somebody hand you $20. That sounds all right.
You might be able to do that for at least an hour or two before they realize what's going on, just by showing
Just
up at a
show up.
Christmas tree lot and say, "Hey, ma'am, I'd like to help you with that. Did you go
Can
ahead?
I
Did you
help you with
pay?"
that?
All
There you
right,
go.
now we, yeah.
All right. The first thing we're going to talk about officially is well, we talked about trees for a while, but the first thing we're going to talk about officially is budgeting. Here's my tip and hack. You ready? Have one. That's the tip. Have a Christmas budget. Seems simple enough to just sit down with the wife and say, "What do you think? What do you think we should be shelling out this year?" And come up with a number and shake hands on it, and just go, "We're not going over that number." What do you think?
Yes, and what I'll say is it's hard to do when you get to December and say, okay, well, what can we do? And you might not actually have the funds that you desire to have for whatever is included in that budget. So whether that's food and drink or decor or gifts. So I highly encourage that this budget be, just like almost all budgets that we talk about, a rollover monthly amount. So if you are going to need $2,000 for Christmas time, all in, and you're probably going to need some money for gifts. The way we do it in our families, we just have a gifts budget, and that includes our Christmas stuff. Um, but we are going to need money for, one of the girls gets invited to a birthday party, and we got to go buy a $30 Lego set or whatever. I used to budget just based on, well, what do I think we're going to spend each month on gifts? And that was dramatically not enough. And so now
Mhm.
I take the sum for a year and I add up birthday presents for each other, uh, gifts for others, and special things like Christmas, and say, what is that amount? It's thousands of dollars. And then I divide that by 12, and that's my monthly gifts budget. But I kind of expect that as we get closer and closer to December, I spend a lot of that at the end of the year. So I would expect that budget each month to roll over. So maybe one month, spend $30. Like I said, there's a birthday party. Okay, that comes out of it. But then there's $300 that accumulates, and it rolls over each month until we get to December, and it's like, great, we've got $2,000 in the gifts budget, and that is how much we will spend. So when the opportunity comes to purchase a whatever little Susie wants, and it's too much, then we can pretty easily say no. And one thing I think we're going to talk about is we also can say yes with full confidence to things that are more than we would normally spend. So whether that's special food or decorations or whatever, we've intended to spend that money, and by budgeting, we make sure that we won't just go, let's skip it and, save that money for something else. So that's
Yes.
why I think a budget is so important. Is um, it's a I'll say it again, I'm a broken record on this, but a budget is a funding plan for your family vision. And if part of your vision is that we make much of special holidays, then you better budget for that. And that doesn't just mean, well, did we get a bonus in December? So great, we get to have Christmas. It means we have planned for the whole year for this special thing for our family.
I love it. You should be saving in March for Christmas. You should be saving in July for Christmas. Um, on this note, I don't think we really talked about it here. I think probably people would be interested if I went into great detail on this, but I think we mentioned at some point that my daughters and wife had a rather splashy event. I think it was in July when they took a stop on the Taylor Swift uh, mobile, which came through town. This is a rather, as I say, it was a rather splashy event. The tickets weren't cheap. They had to get themselves little outfits. I never knew that was a part of the thing, but it is, et cetera, et cetera. And my wife was saying each step along the way, now, girls, you're looking at your Christmas right now. And she said, you're looking at your birthdays right now. And they understood the pot of money that gets spread around the year for such things. And they were very happy to sign off. And we have now executed 2 birthdays since that wondrous event. And they've just been gone swimmingly along, going like, we know the modest to non-existent birthdays, we're signing off on that. And we are about to experience a modest / non-existent Christmas for the same thing. Not that Christmas won't be great. Christmas will be great, but it won't be the, explosion of presents under the tree because that money is gone. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're with you.
Is the faith of your daughters and wife still intact after attending such a pagan event? Given that you made fun of me for putting up a Christmas tree, I'm curious about the Taylor Swift decision.
Hold on a second. I asked an innocuous question, and I got strength back to my simple question that I thought maybe someone out there is asking about Christmas trees. Well, I don't want to take a detour here, but I will say there were, I think, probably two moments in the show when faith issues were challenged, and that produced, actually, this kind of thing is comforting when it produces more angst for your children than they really deserve. And so they bring these things up. Oh, I don't know about this, and mom talks them through it, and explains what you're seeing, and well, we don't believe in that or whatever, and their faith is still intact. All's well.
Okay.
Now, there's something around budgeting that this self-same VJ Tunkel brought up, which I'd like to throw out, which I think is really smart, which is when it comes to extended family gatherings. I don't know about you, but the extended family gathering is at least as expensive for us as the nuclear family gathering, because there's so many expectations for, oh, well, we got to buy something for the new baby with the cousin's family, and we always need to honor the parents with a gift and all of this stuff. And so VJ says, push for, go to the decision maker at does the big family gathering. A lot of times that's grandma. We don't have to argue about why that is. We can just say she makes the decisions about the big Christmas gatherings often. Go to grandma, maybe it's grandpa, and say, we really love coming here for Christmas. It's such a special, important time to be together. And there's a financial stress on us having to give gifts for every person. We love them. We'd love to give gifts to every person. We can't really afford that. So what do you think if we started doing a draw a name kind of a situation? Because 10 people, say you've got 15 people when the family gets together, you got 15 people giving 15 gifts a piece. It's nonsensical. That's silly. So he says, push for either the white elephant thing that can happen among the adults, where it's just kind of a generic, hey, I got a rice cooker. Who wants a rice cooker? Either do the white elephant thing, which is fun, or to do draw a name out of a hat. And he says, this has reduced, we made this change in our family. It reduced our outlay by about 90%, what we were having to spend on family gifts. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, that's great. I think that one more admonition on those lines. When my in-laws lived in a different city than we did, they basically said to us, and I didn't really know what their financial situation was at the time or anything, but when we were newlyweds and didn't have a ton of extra money, they said to us, we would like any holiday that you're willing for you to be with us. And because we live in a different city, those plane tickets are always on us, and they will be as long as you want. And
Wow.
so I just thought, my number one preference is that my kids end up in the same city as me in the long term, but that may or may not happen. And I thought, as much as I'm able, uh, I'm going to continue that tradition and just say, my kids, when they want to come with their children, and maybe someday, as many generations as I'm fortunate enough to see, I will be paying for those tickets to come visit and fronting money. So that's a good thing you can do with money if you're in that stage of having adult kids or even grandkids.
That's great. Well, let's come back to gifts later, and let's move on, or shall I say, as we move around the house from the tree, let's talk about decor. Let's talk about what you're spending on decor and how you're making that happen. Mark,
Well,
what's your strategy? What's your strategy when it comes to decor?
the Abraham's Wallet audience might remember that last year I was debating, because I was out doing some yard work and some guys stopped by and they said, hey, you have this humongo tree in front of your house,
I
and
do remember this.
we could make this thing an attraction that people would come visit every year. It would look so good. Um, And I said, that sounds interesting to me. I'm very into making a big deal of Christmas. I like that. How much? And I actually don't remember. Do you remember what the price tag was? It was
I
multiple
was expecting
thousands
you to
of
say
dollars.
200. I thought it was something like that.
No, no, no. It was in the $4,000 to $5,000 range. Um, and so I actually considered doing it, but then cooler heads prevailed, and Amelia and I were like, "No, we can't afford that." And I think part of the reason why it's so expensive is because you have to buy all the stuff the first year, and it just stays up there. So, anyways, that was kind of a bummer to me that we didn't have anything. But this year, my daughter said to me, "Hey, we can't be the Scrooge house again," and so previously maybe I had strung one strand of lights up the first year that
Oh
we owned.
no.
You've been to my house. The first year that we owned this house, I remember putting lights on the tallest eaves of the peak of the roof in front of our house, and I very clearly remember thinking, you know, if this is going to be how we do Christmas lights, where I have to lean out on the edge and I'm roughly 38 feet off the ground, trying to feel around and clip these lights onto the clips. If that happens for the next 25 years, it will be the way I die, is that I will fall off of
Uh-huh.
this roof. I was like, that is a certainty. And I'm okay with it. Like, if that's what the Lord has, I'm okay with it. But I would rather find a solution that doesn't involve death by head trauma by falling off of the top of my house. So that led to a few years of
You
just,
thought, I'll know what I'll do. I'll buy an adjustable ladder. Is that what you did?
dude, there was no ladder. I mean, short of investing thousands of dollars in a special ladder, I have a ladder that reaches really, really high and it would not fit.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I can go measure it, but it's a tall roof at the peak.
Okay.
Um, so, anyways, I hadn't been doing anything. I'd kind of thrown up a strand over the garage, and it just looked worse than nothing, to be honest.
Yes.
So
I'm with you.
I was at Home Depot solving some other problems the other day, and they got me with an advertisement of Christmas lighting decor that I purchased, and I spent
Okay.
$65 total on this
Oh.
solution. And I haven't told you about it, but I just texted you, and it's still in the sending process. Um,
Uh-huh.
but I've texted you a video of this display in action, and as soon as that
How
arrives,
exciting.
I would like you to tell me, Mark, that was $65 well spent, or it's possible, Mark, that looks like something you would buy on a, you know, uh, Walmart closeout bin the 2 weeks after Christmas.
Oh, I see what this is. Okay. Now my first reaction is to say you got major bang for your buck. That's the first thing I'm going to say. When I see this kind of thing on the front of a house, I do think to myself, the only thing lazier than doing this is doing nothing. That's what I do think when I see this. However, if I envision a street full of houses that do this one thing, that would be nice. That would be a very pleasant look on the street. So what Mark has done is he's bought one of these like moving gobos that shoots up on the front of your house, and it's kind of like green and red lights that move in a pattern, and it puts a it puts a little glow on the whole house. Is it string lights? No. Would putting up street string lights take Mark less than 5 minutes and cost less than $15 to put around his front door, windows, etc.? Okay, yes. But does this check
That
a box? It
that is a
does.
lie. String lights would
Okay.
cost me 4 times what these lasers cost me. 100%.
Well,
I
see, this is one of my strategies. This is one of my strategies is that you enhance annually. I'll get to one of my strategies is that you start very simple, you enhance annually, and when you enhance after Christmas when Lowe's is trying to clean out all of their inventory, and you go say, I'll take that and that and that. You buy, say, 3 things, and the first time you see them on your house is the next year. And
Smart.
when you go to unpack the decor, you go, oh, I forgot I bought this wonderful new thing. And then every year we can sort of pad it out so that by year 10, year 15 of the wedding, of the wedded bliss, now the house is looking all right. That's my thought, is that I pad out very gently every year, and I do it after the Christmas season. I think this is a fine way to start. Is this your first year of marriage?
No,
Oh,
we've been at it now for 18 and a half years, but um, I will say,
so what did your house look like 3 years ago?
I just described that. It had one measly strand of lights over the garage, and
That is so pathetic.
everybody told me that was crap. I used to have a star because there was a big star in the top window, but my suction cup got lost, so that doesn't fit on there anymore. Uh, but I did do what you're talking about, though, with our Christmas tree. I know that when we were newlyweds, we had 2 ornaments to go on that tree, and we said, we're not going to go out and buy a box of baubles at Target. We're going to wait, and
No.
this tree will accumulate ornaments. And now we have more ornaments than we can fit on the tree, just from special events or occasions. And then people have gifted an ornament for baby's first Christmas and all that. So I like that move. But no, I don't know, Stephen. I am in a little bit of a tough spot with the danger of lighting my house. One thing we did discuss this year was, would we do a lighted nativity scene in the front yard?
Oh, love that.
If I put a nativity up front and I kept the laser show going in the background, would you give me a passing grade?
I would. That would actually do it for me. You have no idea how much a reference to the Christmas story does for the way that I would approve of a house. Sometimes, if there is a star, it can't be the shape of a Dallas Cowboys star. That's unacceptable. But if it's like the 4-pointed star where the bottom is longer, it kind of references a cross in some way. We all know that's the Christmas star. And when I see that star, I think, that house is in. I'm in with those people. And for goodness sake, if there's a baby somewhere, we're delighted. So, yeah, that would do it for me.
My daughter's
let's talk about it.
My daughter's offered to go in shifts on a partially living nativity because my dog kind of looks like a sheep. And we were thinking we could have, we've got 3 girls. We could have a Mary out there pretty much from 6 p.m. until bedtime every night.
Wow, that'd be so strong.
Yeah. I mean, they
with
would
your
fail out of school.
$4,000. Say that again.
They would fail out of school because they would never have time to do homework. But
sure, I mean that you got to pay the price. But if you coupled your $4,000 tree with a living nativity, just a quick aside: the nativities, the inflatables. We've gone crazy with the inflatables in the front yards. The nylon ripstop thing with the fan that blows up. We're having these all the time now. In my city, you can see Cincinnati Bengals inflatables around the city at all times. There's inflatables now for every season. There's Halloween inflatables. I don't understand I don't understand what people are doing with these inflatables. So to me, lowest common denominator of the nativity is one of those things. Now, I just said that. Didn't I just say it? I confessed it. And you know what? That's what's in my front yard. I bought the best looking one of those inflatables I could find. I am still on the lookout. This kind of thing used to be common when I was a kid. The kind of huge plastic painted nativity where there's light bulbs inside them. I think that's a very strong showing. Of course, there's a massive problem with this thing. Where do you store this thing? I think people used to store them in the top of their garages. I don't know where you store that, but that's the best look. And when people go old school with their look on the front of their houses, I'm in complete support of that. There's a house near us. It looks so stately when you hang a wreath on every window of the home. It's so stately, and you light up the eaves, and you light up the pathway, and you light up the all of the front bushes, the hedges in the front of the house. This is a stately look. We're somewhere between all of that. One year I went way out and I hung a huge star on the we have a broad side of our house, and I hung a huge star. It was obviously a Christmas star. And then I did strings of lights down from the star as rays of light into the yard, spraying all over the yard. And who were they shining the light down on? Our cheapy inflatable nativity scene. That was a very strong showing, but it only happened one time. Okay.
Okay. Well, I I'll never forget as a kid driving out. We would do a Christmas light drive around every year, and there was always a nativity scene with a life-size Santa kneeling to baby Jesus. And in my household, that was considered the pinnacle of Christian witness, that this family would show that Santa is in subordination to baby King Jesus.
It is an incredible testimony, and the humility of Santa to recognize his place is striking.
One thing that we have not mentioned as we talk about all this is that these decorations cost money. And so we talked about budgeting for Christmas, but I could see a lot of finance podcasts coming in and saying, one of the tips we have for you is don't waste your money on that crap. And that's not what we're saying. So what do you think the wisdom component is on going in wherever, even if you do something as whiskey tango as a inflatable in your front yard, like you have spent some money to make that happen. Where is the wisdom in it, Steve?
There's a precious few times when we get to put out a public consumption kind of message to anyone that passes by our curb, which says, we know who the king is. So, one of my little, maybe it's too inside baseball to have an impact, but when it comes around Passover season, we hang an Israel flag out front of the house. The whole point is saying we know who the king is. We have an Israel flag out front of the house right now because of the war going on. I know there's somebody that would be seen as a political message. God bless them. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just saying that we have loyalties. That same flagpole holds an American flag many times. But we're just trying to put a notice out there. I've thought about having a flag made out front of my house that basically says, you can get prayed for at this house. Like, I like the idea that my neighbors would know we are a family of faith. We believe this kind of stuff. For if you want to hate us for that, you can, or if you want to rely on us for that, you can. So to me, there is no better, like it is the A1 best time of year to kind of hang your shingle to the neighborhood and say, we believe the story. So to me, nothing against your $60 projected lights, but to me, to go out of our way to have the star, the whole point of the star is like, there is a guiding light. There is a true north. There is what the wise men were looking for is a reality. Similarly, to have some representation of the nativity in front of our house says we believe this ancient story. It's not a myth, it's reality. And I always have this like fantasy of every believing family in the whole city representing the nativity in the front of their house around the Christmas season, and basically being able to drive around the city and go, oh, I could trust on that person. Oh, when I don't know what the truth is, I could trust on this family. Oh, this family could show me what God is like, blah, blah, blah. So to me, I mean, you might think that is Pollyanna to hear, but I really believe it is one way to hold out a witness to anybody who would pass by our house. And I think it's worth celebrating, even if you don't. I think this is probably more where you were going. Even if you don't think it's a witnessing tool, we should make much hoopla over the celebration of this season. So you don't have to spend a bunch of money to do that, but by golly, everybody listening to this should make hoopla of some kind around the Christmas season, because it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to mankind, is that a savior was sent. And your children should know that you make much of that. This is a time for dancing, and it's a time for joy, and it's a time for feasting, and it's a time for prayer, and it's a time for worship. It's a big, big deal. So you should make much of it. Is that what you were digging at?
Yeah, I think so. And while you were talking, I was also peeking to see, we've got the internet. We can get things to the house quickly. It's not even December yet. What would it take to create my life-size nativity scene? And I went to bignativity.com, and
Oh, bignativity.com.
they will sell you whatever you want. It comes crated and shipped, delivered to your door. The shipping and crating is separately priced. But for the standard nativity, what do you think they're charging? And these are human-sized humans and donkey-sized donkeys. They're not scaled down at all. So you're dealing with,
What are they made of?
let's see. It's available in bonded, marble, white, or painted, but it's not made of marble. It's made of
Resin?
plaster or resin, it looks like.
Oh my gosh.
So they're not.
I'm going to say are they?
The set. The set includes
How much is the set?
Joseph, Mary, baby Jesus, donkey, ewe and lamb, 2 kings, 1 kneeling king, 2 shepherds, 1 standing shepherd, an ox, and a ram. That's what you get in the set.
$900.
Do you want it painted or ready to paint?
Painted.
Okay, painted. So at this point, we're dealing with the cost of the painting is $3,899.
At Big Nativity. I hope we just throw so much business to Big Nativity. Okay, keep going.
The cost of the painting. The cost of the set to paint is $22,300, and then it's going to take 2 semi trucks worth of stuff to get it to you, because this is a humongous nativity. It's Big Nativity, and so yeah, I'm guessing shipping's costing you another $1,500.
Okay, I would like to make a caveat to what I said about making a big deal out of the Christmas season. And I would just like to say, if you have to choose between having a family vehicle and having a life-size nativity, I think a family vehicle is probably the way to go. I think that's the better way to serve your family.
I mean, to your point, the storage concerns are huge here. There's another 30 grand to build a shed that can hold these things.
That's true. I guess they are assuming that whoever wants to buy a $25,000 nativity scene has a warehouse ready to go that they can just put these things in.
It is a good just reminder for the people listening. Maybe you want Abraham's wallet to purchase Big Nativity set, and you want to make a gift that covers. No, if you give us $25,000, we won't be using it on a Big Nativity.
Yeah, that's right. That's not what we would do with that money. Okay, I feel that we are wandering away from practical usefulness.
Sorry.
Let's come back. EJ Lee, another avid listener, very helpful lady. She makes the point that Dollar Tree and Goodwill can be great for decorations. I mean, why don't you just, if you're out for decorations, why don't you just swing by Goodwill and see what they got? You can certainly, there's some finds there. Our Goodwill services, I mean, a few miles away from us, there's a Goodwill not half a mile from where I'm sitting right now. And I know for a fact that that Goodwill services some very wealthy communities that are about 5 miles from here. And I know that there are some outrageous gems to be found at the Goodwill, so you should probably check it out. EJ also threw out that one of their traditions, they don't really think of it as a gift. It's more of like decor, is that they might go to your Joann Fabric. They might go to your Hobby Lobby buy a couple of pieces of the what do they call that, polar fleece stuff, and make these tie blankets, where you cut them and you just tie together the ends. She's like, these things cost $10. You can make a kid-sized personalized blanket. They've got, knock yourself out. Have a religious side, have a Santa Claus side. What do we care? Make yourself one of these tie blankets. That's not only decor, it's like a family activity together. Thank you, EJ, for the reco. I like it.
Yeah, amen. Have you prepared anything for us, Steve, on the topic of how you guys approach gifts in general at this season that has been so overrun by commercialized sort of shop frenzy? I assume that in a normal year, when you did not spend all your money on Taylor Swift, you do buy gifts for your children. How do you
We
guys
do.
How do you guys approach that?
We do. Well, I'll tell you, this kind of is blending into the last section I wanted to cover, which was traditions. We know that the whole kind of gift giving thing, it's really a stretch to kind of put that in the, no, this is about Jesus on Christmas morning. Come on. It's a family event where we give gifts to each other. That's fun in its own right. It's very weird to try to like connect that with Jesus and we would all say he's the reason for the season, but it's not like we're praying while we're opening up the new Nintendo Switch that we got each other, So we want it to be festive. We want it to be fun and exciting, and so I'll tell you a couple things that we do. We're not so, I literally know families who are like, because it's not about gift giving, we do one gift per child. Okay. You might be more noble and pious than me. We don't do that. However, we are somewhere between that and no holds barred, the Black Friday all in family. We don't do that either. So we try to keep things very modest. I'll describe that. We want it to be festive. We want it to feel generous. And I know what makes it feel generous. I'll get to that in a second for kids. But we don't want to be silly. Did I mention that we have a budget? So we do one family gift each. We do this. Everybody gives a gift to every other member of the family. So that's that right there. You got yourself a little stable of gifts under the tree, and we want to encourage the joy of giving to our children. And so we kind of do that, and we keep the stakes very low on that. It can be anything. It could be, I know Dad really likes these potato chips, so I got him these potato chips and wrapped it. That's fun. That's great. And by the way, I referenced this just a second ago. What makes all of this fun for a kid is two things. The anticipation is the most fun of Christmas. That's the most fun of Christmas. Everyone say that to yourself right now. Anticipation is the most fun of Christmas. And secondly, the opening of something that you don't know what's inside. That's 90% of the joy of Christmas. So if you have a little one, if you have children under the age of 4, parents, don't be stupid. They don't need Disney branded sneakers. They don't need that. They don't care about it. It doesn't mean anything to them. You can take an orange out of your fruit bowl and wrap it up in comic book paper and put it under the tree. They'll be delighted to open that up. When they open up, they go, an orange. And you can go, oh, that's fun, an orange. We'll save that for later. Move on to the next thing. That's so obvious, but it's so countercultural. I'm throwing that out. Do you have something you want to add?
No, I think that's true. I think we were talking to my wife's grandmother who grew up in probably poverty on a farm, and it just made me smile because she told us, you know what I got for Christmas most years? An orange. That was it. So,
Yep. Yeah, we always like to reread. Uh, Longtime listeners will know we are absolutely a Little House loving family, and we always like to reread their Christmas stories. Paul is so proud. He's been to Mankato. He's come back with, guess what he got, everybody? A tin cup for Christmas. And inside that cup, a shiny new penny. Woo-hoo! I love to read that stuff because we need to remind ourselves that you can be joyful and grateful with very, very, very little. And so that's one of the reasons that we do like this is just one of our traditions, is that on Christmas Eve, everybody opens one family gift. So everybody has received one gift on Christmas Eve, and you just feel like this was enough. If this is all that I got for Christmas, I'm grateful for this. This is great. So I have a couple of tips on that. One is this is just a family tradition of the Roger Manuel family. When I was a kid, we didn't have a lot. We didn't like eat sugary cereals, but oh, you can believe that my sister and I had some favorites. Guess what we got every year at Christmas? There was a box of cereal wrapped under the tree, and we open it up. Guess what it is? Sugary cereal that we never got to have. Do you think we look forward to that box of cereal every year? I promise you that we did. Do you think that your kids would love a very simple tradition like that? I guarantee you they would. Similarly, on that note, from about mid-November until Christmas time, maybe it's the 1st of November, anything that our family needs, I mean anything that we need, we just think to ourselves, that's a Christmas present. Oh, the girls need new socks because there's holes in all their socks. Yeah, that'll be a Christmas present. So, and I just bought it on November 12th. Well, they need new socks now. Hey, you know what? They'll be fine with a couple of holes in the socks. They're going to make it. Trust me, they'll make it until the end. My daughter just let us know my sheets on my bed were so threadbare that one night kicking, I ripped a hole in the sheet that's like 2 feet long. There's a hole in my fitted sheet. There is. Yeah, it's like 2 feet long. You need new sheets. Guess when she'll be getting new sheets? I'll let you know. It's going to be Christmas Day. So all of these kind of needs, practical needs. I don't care if it's toothpaste. Wrap it up. Put it in a stocking. All of these practical needs, whatever it is. You know what? It's a relief to find. Yes, finally the toothpaste. I got it on Christmas. Whatever it is. That is such a simple hack. Well, these are needs of ours. Guess what? Stack them all under the Christmas tree. So that's been one of our moves for years, and I think it's a big win.
Yeah, I like that, and it sort of explains why most dads, I feel like when I asked my dad as a kid, "What do you want for Christmas?" Well, I could use some more of those gold toe socks. It's like, well, you just kind of, there comes a point where you sort of buy the things you want, and you're just as happy to get the needs as the wants.
True.
And so I like that.
Okay. I want to hit one more thing before we finish, and that is kind of the rundown of family traditions. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what did I say the joy of Christmas was? Anticipation, and then it actually happening, and you're doing the stuff. If you don't already know this about traditions create a family culture. And so there should be traditions all year long for all kinds of things. I try to build traditions around the 4th of July because I want our kids to really understand the value of this day and to be grateful for this country and the godly heritage of this country. We have traditions around kids' spiritual birthdays. I just put up an article today on AWHQ that's about kids' spiritual birthdays, how to handle that. And there should be a lot of traditions, I think, around Christmas if you want this to be a time of anticipation and joy for your family. So I'm just going to walk you through some ideas. And again, pick and choose what you want. The first thing for Christmas for us is like Decoration Day. That's always the Friday after Thanksgiving. Everyone gets very excited about this. We're taking down the turkeys. We leave our, I don't know about you, we leave out our Halloween pumpkins through the Thanksgiving season, not carved ones. They look like trash, but uncarved ones, they sit out until Thanksgiving Day. We're taking down all the turkeys, all the cornucopia, giving thanks, all that stuff goes away. And suddenly, oh, here's all the red and green and all the Christmas stuff. And what do you think? Of course, we're playing Christmas carols for the first time during that day. If you think it's a beatdown to like put up the Christmas decoration stuff, let me just tell you, make a tradition out of it. Act like it's a fun time. The kids will get into it. Fact. You know why? Because it's tradition, something they can look forward to that happens over and over. This is, you know what? I thought we made this up, but I have since heard that many people do this. And if you are the kind of nerd like us that likes watching Lord of the Rings, that happens for us after Thanksgiving and before the new year. We try to work our way through 3 very long movies in that time. Also during this season, we are looking for any showing of It's a Wonderful Life. I am going to park the whole family around the TV to watch It's a Wonderful Life. We're watching out for when is there a broadcast of Charlie Brown Christmas. We love the Christmas Story movie. So my children all look forward to, like, these are just things that we do. And we're not watching Lord of the Rings in April. That's not happening in my house. It won't happen. So we want to do Christmassy kind of things through the season. So if there's a Christmas concert, drive through the town where they put up all the lights and enjoy the lights. We do all that stuff. We just love it. As Mark said earlier, the hoopla over this season is well deserved. And I used to be a real curmudgeon about this kind of stuff in my 20s. And I just got over it. I think the Lord actually likes the hoopla. I mean, you can disagree with me. I think he likes making much of this season. Christmas Eve, I'll kind of talk you through ours just to give you young bucks some ideas if your family didn't have a lot of traditions. But my number one recommendation is that you just have a thing. I don't really care what it is. It doesn't really matter what it is. We play touch football at the elementary school. Great. Do that. Your kids will look forward to it. Do it every year. My recommendation is that you don't make something up on the spot every year. You just have something that you reproduce. Here's what we do. So I don't know why. I guess because we don't want to do a big shebang, but we always have fast food of some kind on Christmas Eve. And the girls actually look forward to that. It's either going to be Panera because they're open late. There's one downtown, or it's a family favorite of Skyline. We're either hitting one of those two on Christmas Eve. We are definitely going downtown and doing a carriage ride. That's happening for us on Christmas Eve. We are definitely coming home. There's one episode of Little House on the Prairie, which is Christmas in Walnut Creek, I think it's called. We're going to watch that on Christmas Eve. Then we do this thing. I think this is fantastic because I like to check the box of, well, when are we going to actually formally sit down and read the Christmas story? We have decided that's Christmas Eve. I have put together an amalgam of all of the kind of Bible passages that tell the story from start to finish. You know, you have to look in about 3 books to get those. I have put those passages together, and guess what I'm going to do as a special treat? I'm going to give you all that thing. When this goes up, that post will be up on abrahamswallet.com. Just go grab all of those Bible passages. You can print them out, read them with your family. Here's how we do it. We take our nativity, the little nativity with all the figurines, and we clear the board. We assign different characters in the nativity to different kids. And as I'm reading the nativity, they get to play out whatever character they've got. So when I talk about Mary and an angel, whoever's got Mary, whoever's got the angel, they're acting it out as I'm reading the story. We started that when they're, 4 years old. My oldest is 14 now. They love this. Not too cool for it yet. We're still doing this. So we kind of act out the Christmas story. I told you we give one gift. That's our Christmas Eve. I don't care what you do. Just have the thing that you do. You want to throw out anything you guys do?
It was a bit of a challenge when I first got married because there was only one night growing up that I thought this is the most special, fun, and it was Christmas Eve. That was the deal for me. And I married a woman who had her own set of traditions for Christmas Eve. And she said, in our family, it's all about Christmas Day, but on Christmas
Oh,
Eve, we always go to the zoo because nobody's at the zoo on Christmas Eve. And then we always go to a like a Middle Eastern restaurant because they're open. They're not closed on Christmas Eve.
how
And
funny.
that was her tradition. And so she said, well, this is what we're going to do. And I said, there's no chance that we are not going to have a massive, we won't be at the zoo on Christmas Eve night. We won't be at a Middle
Ah,
Eastern restaurant. We will be making sausage balls in the house
oh,
and having,
oh,
so there's specific foods, there's rum cake, sausage balls, a whole slew of specific foods. And what we did is kind of say, well, I had to give up a little bit of my, we're not doing any of those things. This is my favorite
sure.
day of the year. And so now we go to the zoo in the afternoon and
I like it.
the evening is holy. And I just tell people starting at 4:30 or so until midnight, you are anybody that knows us is, and this is true for our listeners, you can just come and we will provide ample food and drink, and there will be Christmas music, and we will open a gift as well. That was something I had to give up. Is in our family we opened all the gifts on Christmas Eve,
Oh,
and the
oh,
only thing that was there on Christmas morning was the stocking. That was
I
not
see.
acceptable to my wife. So there is going to be some, when you combine two families, like even with my kids, I'm like, I have these visions that they're going to do the traditions that we do. And I have to think, well,
Sure.
you're going to marry somebody and you're going to have to figure this out. So be flexible as you're creating your own family's traditions and identity around how you do this, but I agree with you.
Yes.
Do things repeatedly year after year, and um, I think that's really, really powerful. Even if you come from a home where things weren't always wonderful, you.
Yes.
I look back and I go, but Christmas Eve, it was always wonderful, and there's a lot of power in
Yeah.
those traditions.
I like, yeah, you guys have that open house party. I like that. Um, Christmas morning, just to throw it out there, we again we want to protect that anticipation. There's nothing better than that anticipation. So even when we wake up, it's not you get to tear everything open. You got to sit there and stare at those presents that have appeared overnight. You just got to deal with it. And while you're dealing with that, that's when we have breakfast. We do that. Our in-law family does the same thing whenever we're in Texas. This is what happens on Christmas morning is that we're making a breakfast, and it's the same thing every year. If we're with Grand Molly and Papa Jay, I know they're making breakfast casserole. Fact. I know that if you are with my sister Bonnie and her family, they're making strudel with phyllo pastry every Christmas morning. I already know that. That's definitely happening. We have option. We did the breakfast casserole for a while. We're opting away because we were so excited right now about this baked oatmeal recipe that we have. We just can't give it up. So we're now a baked oatmeal family on Christmas Day. And that kind of, then we do the presents, and after you do the presents, there's that kind of malaise that can set in. So we like to break that malaise with, we're all going outdoors. So everybody's going to bundle up. You're going to put on your galoshes. We're going out to a city park. We're taking say a 2-hour hike. And now we can get back to the cozying in the house, but we want to get out in the cold and get the blood flowing. So that's kind of our move. I throw that out to you people. Do what you like. You, Mark?
I don't have anything to add to Christmas Day. We
Okay.
we do a similar
Okay.
set of things, but I think you covered it.
Okay. Last thing is I just want to make a comment about holiday rhythms in general. When the kids are off school, when everybody's kind of at home more, then there's kind of a nesting thing that happens. I just want to say this about this. To see that window of time, maybe it's a couple of weeks when everybody kind of hunkers down. I just encourage you to see that time as an extended Sabbath. Yes, you can be more lax about screens and you can be more lax about being productive. Yeah, you don't have to be as productive in that time, but don't just go to pot and say nothing matters during this time. That's not true. You really want to oversee the way that your family even rests and recreates. So it's not all sugar all the time. It's not like there's a green light to eat anything you want at all times. That's not true. It's not endless entertainment. That's not good for anybody. So if you're a family that's watching screen time, you can loosen that up, but I would say you need to keep some constraints there. And so with this downtime, you could take some time to review vision, review goals for the family as we're nearing the end of the year. This would be a great time to have one-on-ones with your kids. If you're there in a morning, on a random morning, why don't you grab a kid and take them to McDonald's? That's great. Why don't you spend time with God every day and have time with family where you're worshiping and praying and blah, 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 and get outside and you exercise because you've got the time to do it. I just know that the American way is that when we have downtime, it is consume with laziness and indulge yourself at every opportunity. That's not wise. That's not what kingdom families look like. So yes, more restful. No, not anything goes. That's my closing salvo for Christmas hacks and tips.
Awesome. I have one question for you, and then one little teaser for the next episode, and we'll close it off. I know we thought this was going to be a quick episode. What a
Yeah.
foolish thought! What a foolish thought!
Well,
But
we just have too much fun. Hold on. Give me the question, and then hold off on your thing because I have one more thing too.
okay, what, Stephen? What is the top? And please don't try to be too holy here. Just give me the first thing that
Okay.
comes to mind. This is the top of your Christmas wish list this year. What is it? A
Electric
gift.
bike.
Electric bike?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's no small gift.
No, it's
All right.
not.
I thought I would be tricky, and I assembled my little Christmas wish list, and my daughter was looking at what I wrote down, and she said, 45 ACP ammo. Dad, you don't have a 45 gun that shoots this ammo. And I said,
She did?
yeah.
Wait, your daughter knows that you don't have a 45.
She knows what we got. And I said,
Wow.
exactly, honey. And if we have a bunch of ammo, then that will precipitate a necessary purchase of a new toy. And so it's like a gift that's doubly given. So that
It's
was
like a prophecy of gifts to come.
yeah. What did you want to say before I tease you with an episode that's coming next?
Okay. I want to throw out to the good people the fact that I have a side hustle, which is hopefully profitable in the long run. And in the short run, it's entertaining for others, which is me and a buddy have been going to the music lab and cooking up some delicious Christmas music. So I want to tell people that you can go to the YouTube channel, which we'll put in the show notes, which is called The Christmas Project. There was nothing named The Christmas Project, so we are the artist formerly known as The Christmas Project. So if you go to Spotify or Apple Music or anywhere, throw The Christmas Project into your mix. We're adding songs to it throughout this year, and we think we're going to continue into next year. And I'm going to attach one of our songs here at the end of this very podcast. So
That's awesome. We've been listening to some Stephen Manuel Christmas music already from the Awaited soundtrack that you did a few years ago. So
yes,
that's
indeed.
awesome. Well, before you play us out, then a lot of people towards the end of the year start thinking about often kids will get money. Maybe grandma gives your kids a check for $100 or maybe more. Just there's often some extra money that comes to your kids. And a question I get all the time is how should they invest it? And I've been talking with my oldest daughter, who's 13, and we have a product that we've been kind of working through and reviewing that is a new type of account that can be opened and owned exclusively by a 13 to 18-year-old and can be used for investing and high yield savings. And I told her I would like to record some sessions where we talk through how to think about what you might invest in and make those decisions kind of on air in real time. And then we're going to kind of give you the pros and cons of this new platform. We have no financial relationship with it, so it's not associated with what we do during the day over at Outpost Advisors. This is just a publicly available platform that if you have kids in that 13 to 18 age range and they're interested in investing, I actually think this is a better option than opening an account in your name or opening a custodial account for them.
Neato.
And hopefully I'll give you a window into how I, as a financial planner, talk to my own children as I'm getting ready to take them from saving, giving, spending into the next step of their education, which is how do I pick good investments if I want to grow my money?
I love it. I'm going to be looking forward to as many of those as y'all can pump out.
Awesome.
And with that, the Christmas Project. Everyone have a wonderful holiday season.
Come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appear. Oh, come thou rod of Jesse, thy bride from Satan's tyranny, from evil powers thy people save, to all display thy victory o'er the grave. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. O Israel. Spring, come and cheer our spirits by thine anthem here. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight. Oh, rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. O Israel.
Jerusalem may say, the Lord has abandoned me, and my Lord has forgotten me. But the Lord will answer, can a woman forget her nursing child and have no compassion on the son of her womb? Even these may forget, but I will not forget you. The city walls of Zion are continually before me. Your destroyers and devastators will leave you. Your ruins and desolate lands, once the scene of destruction, in the coming years will be crowded with joyful songs.
Oh, come thou Key of David, justice and thy love is the law. And you shall reign in majesty and rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Oh, rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Shout for joy, O heavens, and break forth into singing, O mountains, for the Lord will have compassion on his afflicted